Now, what could be even cuter about a raccoon-like creature who's the best friend of two little girls? Well, what if Neighbor Totoro was all just a metaphor for murder? Creepypasta forums and Crack.com articles have been abuzz with this particular conspiracy, that Studio Ghibli's Tonori no Totoro, or My Neighbor Totoro, is actually about the Sayama Incident, and all of the friendly creatures in the film represent death. Warning, this is a little graphic, so if you'd like to skip ahead in the video a little bit, go ahead. The case occurred May 1st, 1963 in Sayama City, Saitama, Japan, where a man kidnapped and killed a 16-year-old girl. Now, before we get too in-depth with the conspiracy, you're going to have to excuse me on my pronunciation of some of these words. In the film, the oldest daughter's name is Satsuki, which is a traditional name for May in Japanese, and the youngest daughter's name is May, which in English obviously sounds like the month of May. Early in the film, the two sisters begin to see things, and in Japanese folklore, seeing things usually means you're going to die. The real-life model for the family's home is located in Sayama Hills, and the movie's location was inspired by Tokorozawa City, which happens to be next to Sayama City. Well, I guess this explains why the title of the film is My Neighbor Totoro. Now, this part gets a little creepy. The girl in the Sayama incident had an older sister who actually committed suicide after the loss of her little sister. However, before she died, it's rumored that the older sister began hallucinating a raccoon or cat-like ghost. So this could mean that the Totoros are angels of death. Yay! The old woman in the film says that adults cannot see the Susuwatari, or mythical beasts. What isn't explained though is why she could see them when she was young, but Kanta, her grandson, doesn't seem to see them. So it's not necessary that all children can see the spirits. In the film, Satsuki asks the Totoros for help, and Catbus takes her to where May is, which, if we're following the theory, is the afterlife. What proves that? Catbus's sign translates to Grave Road. And some people think Catbus is a one-way trip to heaven, or maybe hell. And when May goes missing, she's seen crying at the feet of Jizo statues. In Japanese culture, Jizo is the protector of children. The spirit takes care of the souls of unborn children and those who die at a young age. So at the end of the movie, the girls return home with their mother, who's been in the hospital for the majority of the film. Or do they? In the final scene, none of the characters have shadows, almost like ghosts. So maybe the youngest daughter goes on missing, eventually dies, and the oldest daughter ultimately commits suicide. Just like the Sayama incident. Fortunately, as it turns out, this conspiracy is nothing more than urban legend. While the events of the Sayama incident are true, its connection to My Neighbor Totoro is just rumor. And before you get too up in arms about trying to prove this, Studio Ghibli released a statement dispelling this rumor. They say the reason the girls don't have shadows because the animators were too lazy, decided that shadows were unnecessary in that scene. Miyazaki also said that the girls in the film were inspired by his friend's daughters. It's also been said that the older sister in the Sayama incident never saw any rodent-type ghost. Here are also a couple other rebuttals to this conspiracy. Regarding the film's location, it's supposedly proven by the logo on a Sayama tea box in the back of one of the scenes. Sayama is a very popular tea in Japan, so it doesn't necessarily prove anything. Actually, if they're going to a hospital in the Hachikoku area, which is the area the movie is actually based on as far as the setting's appearance goes, then they couldn't possibly live in Sayama because we see the girls biking to the hospital, and there's no way you can bike from Sayama to Hachikoku. And finally, a lyric in Catbus's song translates to "Those who ride are cheerful ghosts." However, obake in Japanese doesn't mean ghost like it does in English. It doesn't mean dead person, but it is synonymous with yurei, which are dead people. Obake can be a forest spirit or any other kind of creature or monster as well. The Catbus is a bus for obake. Totoro is an obake, and I probably pronounced that horribly wrong. On that note, the fact that Catbus says Tomb Road literally doesn't mean anything. All in all, while this conspiracy runs into a lot of coincidences with the Sayama incident, Studio Ghibli did confirm it to be untrue. Technically, I should give this conspiracy a 0 out of 5, but I do want to give it some bonus points for being so thorough. So, on the plausibility meter, I give the Totoro conspiracy 2 raccoon cat-like ghost creature things out of 5. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Cartoon Conspiracy. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this conspiracy. If you're interested in seeing some of the interviews and other articles I found while doing research for this, you can look in the description below. Click over here to check out a preview for next week's episode, and make sure you stay tuned.